friends, in the playlist of Discovering Statistics Using Jamovi. Today we will discuss parametric test, and in parametric test I will demonstrate how to perform one sample t-test. What are the assumptions of t-test? One sample t-test, how to check these assumptions, how to make decisions, and how to report your findings. Choice of test. Choice of test depends on many things. For example, first, this is a procedure. First of all, we have to decide our purpose or objective of statistical analysis. What would you like to do? Test of differences, test of relationship, or prediction? There are different tests for test of difference and test of relationship and prediction. Then next step, number of variables would you like to analyze together? One variable, two variable, or more than two variables? Friends, I am here discussing analyze together. How many variables would you like to analyze together? Level of measurement of each variable. You should know the level of measurement of each variable. Your variable is on nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scale. You should know the level of each variable in this data set. Nature of variables. In your objective, the variables you have taken in your study, that variable is independent, dependent, or moderator, you have to decide. Then the next step comes parametric test versus non-parametric test. Each parametric test has some assumptions. If the data set fulfill the assumptions or met the assumption, we can apply parametric test. If we fail to met the assumptions, then we will select a non-parametric test. What are assumptions? I have taken this. What are assumptions from source Discovering Statistics by Andy Field, second edition, page number 132. What are assumptions? Andy Field has described as this. However, there are good reasons for taking assumptions seriously. Imagine that I go over to a friend's house. The lights are on. It's obvious that someone is at home. I ring the doorbell and no one answers. From that experience, I conclude that my friend hates me and that I am terrible, unlovable person. How tenable is the conclusion? Well, there is reality that I am trying to tap whether my friends likes or hates me. And I have collected the data about the reality. I have gone to his house, seen he is at home, rang the doorbell and got no response. Imagine that in reality my friends likes me. He never was a good judge of character. In this scenario, my conclusion is false because bell was not working. Why have the data led me to the wrong conclusion? The answer is simple. I had assumed, here is assumption, I had assumed that my friend's doorbell was working. Under this assumption, the conclusion that I made from my data was accurate. My friend heard the bell but chose to ignore it because he hates me. Friends, in this case, the assumption he has taken was not checked. He was thinking bell was working, but actually the bell was not working. However, this assumption was not true. His doorbell was not working, which is why he did not answer the doorbell. As a consequence, the conclusion I drew about the reality was completely false. Same things happened in our research also. When we take data and we do not check the assumption, our data does not meet the assumption and we make the conclusion, same happen, we come to wrong conclusion. What assumption? When assumptions are broken, we stop being able to draw accurate conclusion about reality. Assumption for parametric test. Each parametric test has its own set of assumptions. If these assumptions are not met, logic behind hypothesis testing is flawed. There is no sense to make hypothesis testing and we are applying parametric test. If these assumptions are not met, not true, even then we perform the test, we apply the test loses its validity. Parametric test, as we have discussed earlier, it depends on our objective. I am starting from test of differences. On the basis of test of differences, there is one sample test. In one sample, large sample, if our sample is large, sample size is more than 30, we apply Z test. Sample size, number of units is less than 30, we apply T test. Two samples, we are checking the difference between two samples and these samples are independent. In the case of independent samples, we apply independent sample t-test. When our sample set is data is large, we apply independent sample z-test. What when? When our samples are dependent, then our test is paired sample t-test. In case more than two samples, when we are checking the differences between more than two samples and our data sets our samples are independent, then we will apply ANOVA. When our samples are dependent, we apply repeated measure ANOVA. Why is there no option to run z-test in software like SPSS and Jamovi? Need to be considered. Assumption of z-test, normality, independence. Friends, I will discuss later in my further slides. First, I am going to tell you why there is no option to run z-test in software like SPSS and Jamovi. Third assumption, known standard deviation. Known. You should know about the standard deviation of your population. The third assumption of z-test is that the true standard deviation of population is known to the researcher. This is very stringent assumption. In no real world data analysis problem do you know the standard deviation of some population but are completely ignorant about the mean. We can say mu. We don't know the mean and standard deviation. Mean and standard deviation of the population. But here is the assumption, you should know about the standard deviation. In other words, our assumption is always wrong. This takes us out of the dreary domain of z-test and into the magical kingdom of t-test. Let's start from t-test. There are three types of t-test. One sample t-test, independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test. We will start here. We will discuss in this video one sample t-test. One sample t-test is also called single parameter t-test or single sample t-test. Suppose I organized a test in my college. There were 1000 students. A question was in my mind. Is the average score of this batch is same as previous one? The average score of previous batch was 66.5. I took a sample of 150 students. Now I would like to compare my data. This is sample, 150 is sample and 1000 students is population. I would like to generalize, I would like to make conclusion about this population, but I am working on sample. In this case, this 66.5 with which I would like to compare, it will be called hypothesized mean. One sample t-test. It is used for testing difference between the population mean and hypothesized mean. In this case, mean of this 1000 students and I would like to compare with 66.5, but I will not work on 1000 students. I have taken the sample, a representative sample of 150 students. For example, when a similar study in past has given a specific means hypothesis means past study, say specific mean value, and you want to test this for the sample in hand. Working statement, we will work on this data. 150 students have been selected for this study from a college and their marks have been noted down. The mean marks of previous batch was 66.5. Here I would like to check whether the mean marks of our population is significantly different from 66.5. Friends, what is the meaning of significant difference? I have explained this in my video hypothesis testing and formulation. You can check this video. Assumption of one sample t-test, one dependent variable that is measured at continuous level. Continuous level means interval or ratio scale. In this data set, yes, we have our data set, marks of the students at continuous level. The data are independent, not correlated or related. Dependent variable should be approximately normally distributed. There should be no significant outliers. What is the meaning of second assumption? Data from different participants are independent, which means that the behavior of one participant does not influence the behavior of another. Yes, it is true in our case. The marks of one student is not affecting the marks of other student. Our data is independent of each other. Means our first two assumptions. The first two assumptions are related to study design. We have to take the data at continuous level. Continuous means interval ratio scale, and the data should be independent. Yes, we have taken care while recording the data. Next to assumption, dependent variable should be approximately normally distributed and there should be no significant outlier. I will elaborate, I will demonstrate these two assumptions in my further slides. Normally distributed. What does mean by normally distributed? Means when I draw my data graphically, the shape should be like this. Like this means the shape should be like bell shaped. My curve should look like this, bell. Means mean is on the center. Mean is on the center, and this one part is called standard deviation, one standard deviation. In my data set, 68.3% of the data should lie between mean minus one standard deviation to mean plus one standard deviation, and 95.5% data should be lie between mean minus two standard deviation to mean plus two standard deviation, and 99.7% of data should lie between mean minus 3 standard deviation to mean plus 3 standard deviation. If the curve of my data, if my curve of my data set looks like this, then my data set is normally distributed. But how can I assess my data is normally distributed? For this, how to assess normality? There are two types of methods: graphically, statistically. Graphically, histogram, stem and leaf plot, box plot, normality probability plot, D-trend normal plot, scatter plot. These are graphic methods. Statistically means applying a test. Yes, we can by applying a test. Kolmogorov-Smirnov statistics. Skewness, kurtosis, z-score, 5% trimmed mean. Yes, we can drawing a graph or performing a test, we can know about the normality of our data set. Friends, in this video, I will discuss only on these two topics, box plot, because we can know about the outlier of data set with box plot also. And we will check normality of our data set with KS test. KS means Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. Let's start from box plot. What is box plot? Box plot is also called box and whisker plot. Box plot is a useful graphical display for describing the behavior of data in the middle as well as the end of the distribution. A box plot is a way of looking at data set in an effort to determine its central tendency, spread, skewness, and existence of outliers. It also tells us about the outliers. Box plot. How to prepare a box plot? Box plot is a set of 5 summary measures of the distribution of data and interquartile range and fences. What is the meaning of this? 5 summary data means median of data, lower quartile means Q1, upper quartile Q3, smallest observation and largest observation of our data set. These are called 5 summary measures. And if we discuss about interquartile range, the difference between the lower quartile and the upper quartile means Q3 minus Q1 is called interquartile range or IQR. What do you mean by fences and how to calculate fences? We have discussed about IQR, Q3 minus Q1. Formula to calculate fences. There are 4 types of fences. Lower inner fence, upper inner fence. Lower outer fence, upper outer fence. Means 2 fences, inner fences will be calculated and 2 outer fences. Formula Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. And what is IQR? Q3 minus Q1. Q and upper inner fence, Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Lower outer fence, Q1 minus 3 IQR and upper outer fence is Q3 plus 3 IQR. In this way, we can calculate our fences. Friends, we have a data set. Let's demonstrate me. Let's me show you how to prepare box plot and how to find the outliers. Let's use this number. Try to find out the outliers. If I calculate descriptive of this data set, means number 40 numbers are there. Mean of this data set 70.30. Median 66.5, minimum 2, maximum 170. Q1 is 58, Q3 is 80, and we can say median, same, we can say Q2 or median is 66.5. On the basis of this data set, I will calculate IQR means Q3 minus Q1. Q3 minus Q1, 80 minus 58. I have taken this value from here, 80 minus 58. IQR is 22. Lower inner fence, on the base by using those formula we have discussed earlier, 25. Upper inner fence 113. Lower outer fence minus 8. Upper outer fence 146. I have put the values here in the formula. Now 4 fences have been calculated. If I draw a box plot means graph. Here you can see a box. This box is 5 summary measures. 5 summary means this line is median and this line is Q1 and this is Q3. This is lower inner fence. We have calculated here lower inner fence, and this is upper inner fence. This is lower outer fence and this is upper outer fence. Types of outlier. 2 types of outliers are there. Suspected or we can say weak outliers. When a value lies between inner fence and outer fence is considered as suspected or weak outliers. If we discuss about strong or extreme outliers, when a value is beyond outer fences is considered as strong or extreme outlier. Let's check in our data set. Weak suspected outliers means this is Q1, this is Q3. These are the points, the data values between lower outer fence and lower inner fence. This is called suspected outliers. These are also, because this also lying between upper inner fence and upper outer fence, these are called suspected outliers. But this one out of upper inner fence, which is beyond the upper outer fence is called strong outliers. Shape of box depends on the data set. If our box, this is minimum value, this is maximum value, you can see if we draw a histogram, if we draw a bell shape of this data, normal shape of this curve, our curve will be right skewed. In this case, you can check our graph has two sides, left side, right side. This graph is on the skewed on the left side, and this graph is skewed will be skewed on the right side. So it is called right skewed, and this is called left skewed. If our data shape is like this, median is the mid in the center, and this is minimum, maximum, no outliers there. This is called symmetrical, or we can say bell shaped, or we can say normal distributed graph. And this, if we get the shape like this, means we have a small variance, small spread, small variance. Let's check in this picture. You can check there two data set A and B. Data sets A and B seem to be similar, but what we can say about the set C and set D? Set C and set D are not similar. In this data set, small variance, but in this data set, large variance we can see. Normality and parametric versus non-parametric test. If population is normally distributed, we can select parametric test. Parametric test may be used. If my data set is not normally distributed, population or no assumption can be made about the population distribution, then we have to use non-parametric test. Parametric test and normality test. Friends, I have told you normality can be checked graphically or with test also. Now we will discuss about normality test. Normality test, there are so many parametric tests. One sample t-test, two independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test, one way ANOVA, repeated measure ANOVA, Pearson's correlation coefficient, simple linear regression. All these comes under the category of parametric test. But what to check for normality? In one sample t-test, what to check in normality? Normality will be checked on dependent variable. In the case of two independent sample t-test, I will explain very much in my next video, when I will create a video on two independent sample t-tests. What is the meaning of dependent variable by group? Friends, you can check normality. Normality will be checked according to test OpenAI for a normality test in Jamovi. Friends, I have created a dummy file to show you concept of normality. I have a file, normality testing bottle filling. Friends, I have discussed this example, bottle filling example, in my video, hypothesis testing. You can check this example in my video, then it will be comfortable for you to get understand. Let's open this file. I have a file, Jamovi normality testing bottle filling. Let's check descriptive of the data set. To check descriptive, analysis, exploration. In exploration, descriptives. Command window have been open. I am shifting. Let's shift the all the three variables, regular checking, underfilling, overfilling, to the variables box. We will check descriptive statistics. I will click on statistics, and by clicking statistics, I will here check quartiles, which are used in my for outliers, mean, median, and minimum, maximum. We will check here minimum, maximum. Let's check our descriptive statistics. If we check descriptive statistics, each case n is 100, missing 0, mean 300, 289.29, 309.54. You can check here minimum and maximum. There is a difference in the first case, minimum 288, maximum 314. Here minimum 280, maximum 309. Minimum 286 and maximum 319. You can check here also quartiles, Q1, Q2 and Q3. On the basis of this data, on this basis of this value, box plot can be prepared, and we have also option box plot to draw box plot in Jamovi also. Click on plots, and let me check. Click on plots and click on box plot, and I will click on box plot, and I am also clicking on density. Let's check our output. Box plot. Jamovi is preparing box plot for us. Let's wait. Box plot will be prepared on these 5 summary data and minimum and maximum value and with the fences. Yes, box plot has been ready. Box plot in the case of case 1, regular checking, you can check no outlier is there. In the case of underfilling, this is the density plot, this is case 2 underfilling, and this is density of case 2, case 3, and you can check these dots are outlier in our data set. I have pasted this box plot in my file, my PPT. Let's show me. I have shown you how to prepare box plot. Hypothesis for normality and decision making. Friends, there is a hypothesis about normality. We will take hypothesis. The population is H0. H0 means null hypothesis. Population is normally distributed. And HA means alternate hypothesis. The population is not normally distributed. Decision rule. If p-value is greater than 0.05, null hypothesis accepted, means the distribution is normal. Means we should check if you want your data should be normal, then your value p-value should be greater than 0.05. If the value is less than 0.05, the distribution is not normal. In the case of bottle filling, in case 1, if we check the frequency distribution in each case, you can check your most of the data lies in the center, 295 to 300, 300 to 305. But in the case of right tailed, you can check your most of the data lies on the left hand side. And in the case of left tailed, or we can say overfilling of the bottle, you can check here your data is not normally distributed, it is on one side. Let me show you testing. Let's check the commands in also normality testing. KS test. Let's open the file in Jamovi. How to perform normality test. To apply the normality test, we will click on t-test. In t-test, one sample t-test, here I will shift all these three variables, and here we have a option normality assumptions check, normality Shapiro-Wilk. I will click here. Let's check the output. We will try to read the output. I have shown you, I have demonstrated the commands of test of normality. Here normality test for case 1, case 2, case 3. Let's check in our slides. Yes, if the significance level is greater than 0.05, first we should check our sample size. If sample size is less than 50, we will check the value of Shapiro-Wilk test. But if our sample size is more than 50, we will check KS test. In this data set, our sample set is 100. We will check the value of KS test. We will check the p-value. In case 1, p-value is 0.54, means greater than 0.05. But in case 2, it is less than 0.05. In case 3, it is also less than 0.05, means we can check from our data, we can check from box plot. It is showing our first case. In our first case, the data is normally distributed, but in the two other cases, our data set is not normally distributed. Friends, you can check from here also. I have prepared box plot and density plot. I have copied paste in the slides to show more clearly. This is the box plot of case 1, this is the box plot of case 2, and this is the case 3. There are some outliers. These dots are called outliers. In case of overfilling, you can check what is density. Density plot is representation of distribution of numerical value. It is smooth version of histogram. Friends, in first case, you can check. You may say your shape is like bell, but in this case, it is not bell, it is skewed from right side. It is called right tail. But in this case, you will see your curve is skewed from left side. We will say this is left skewed. Friends, let's discuss our working example. Same example I am taking. Till now I have told you what is box plot, how can we check outlier, how can normality will be checked, and what are the condition, what type of data when we will not get data set normally distributed. Same example I am discussing again with my data file. In this case, we will take hypothesis, null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis mu is equal to mu 0, and alternate hypothesis will be mu is not equal to mu 0. Friends, how to formulate hypothesis? I have discussed in my video hypothesis testing, where mu is population mean estimated from sample. We are going to generalize about population, but it will be estimated from sample. As in our case, this is our sample, this is our population. This is our population. We would like to take decision about our population, but we are working on sample. Means population mean. Population mean, the symbol of population mean is mu. Means estimated from sample. Mu 0 is known or hypothesized population mean. In this case, we would like to compare with 66.5. So we will write mu marks. Mu mark means marks of population. Mean marks of population is equal to 66.5. If we would like to explain in words, the mean marks of population is equal to 66.5. H1 or HA. Mu marks is not equal to 66.5. The mean marks of population is not equal to 66.5. We can say this is the sign of not equal to. Here 66.5 is our hypothesized mean or past estimate of average marks of students. Friends, this is the formula given in our books which we learned at our UG or PG level. Formula 1 sample t-test. T is equal to x bar minus mu. X bar minus mu upon standard error of x bar. What is the formula of standard deviation? Standard error. Standard error is standard deviation upon under root n. Here you can check. Mu means proposed constant population mean. In this case, in our data file, mu means 66.5. Sample mean, we will calculate the sample mean of our 150 students. N sample size, 150 is our sample size. S sample standard deviation, we can calculate. Sx bar means estimated standard error of mean or square root. Friends, I am telling you all this because I will show you. If we calculate manually, then how can we come to conclusion? How can we make decisions? Now, we have a data set. It is compulsory to check. It is compulsory to perform as we have to check the assumption. Check the assumption of one sample t-test. There were 4 assumptions. One dependent variable is measured at continuous level. Yes, we have measured our data set and marks at continuous level. The data are independent. Yes, our student marks are not independent on each other. Means our data is not correlated or related. There should be no significant outliers. Dependent variable should be approximately normally distributed. Friends, these first 2 assumptions are part of our study design and I would show you how to perform, how to check outlier in dataset and how to check our data is normally distributed or not. File, one sample t-test. Let's open the file. I have a file, I have a dataset in my Jamovi in my system. This is in column 1 respondent and this is marks. Marks is on continuous scale. Here we will check first of all we will check outliers. To check outlier I will click on exploration. In descriptive, same commands I have told you earlier. Descriptive, I will shift the marks to variables. Here click on box plot. In plots we will click on box plots. By getting a box plot I can check if my dataset has outlier or not. Let's check the box plot. Yes, you can check the box plot. There is no dot on the lower side, on the upper side, means no outlier is in my dataset. Now second assumption, check normality. How to check normality? We can check in our slides also, from current slide also check outlier. This is box plot prepared by Jamovi. This is the box plot and this is the descriptive. Descriptive N150 missing 0, mean 68.8 means mean is in the this is mean or and median. We can say mean and median are almost same. Standard deviation, minimum, maximum, Q1, Q3 and this is also called median. On these values box plot can be prepared. We can check here, we can check from here. There is no outlier in our data set. If outlier exists, then what to do? Run the non-parametric test, Wilcoxon sign rank test. Modify the outlier, second option. Modify the outlier, replace the outlier value with one that is less extreme, next largest value. So we can perform the test. There should be no outlier. We will replace the value with next largest value, means less than that value. Third option, include the outlier in analysis anyway because you do not believe the result will be materially affected. Means we will perform the t-test keeping outlier and without keeping the outlier. If it does not make any difference, then we can select the t-test with outliers. Checking the assumption of normality. How to assess normality? Here our data set is, in my data set the values are more than 50. We will check the value of KS test. KS test, hypothesis for normality and decision rule. We have already discussed the population is H0, population is normally distributed, HA, population is not normally distributed, and decision rule means our value should be, P value should be greater than 0.05 to get the distribution normal. Let's check assumption using Jamovi. In my file, to check the normality test, KS value, in analysis, t-test, t-test, one sample t-test. In one sample t-test, shift the marks to dependent variables and we will click on normality Shapiro. We will check the values. This is our output, test of normality. Here we will check KS value and we will check the P value. Let's go back to our slides. This is normality assumption, decision rule, and this is our result. We will check KS value. Here KS value is greater than 0.05 means my data set, my data is normally distributed. Normality is assumed. Now we can perform the test. Means we would like to check the mean marks of population. I would like to compare the mean marks of population with 66.5. This is my hypothesis. Mu marks, mean marks of population is 66.5. This is my alternative hypothesis and 66.5 is my hypothesized mean. Let's work in Jamovi. We will check. Now friends, note down our hypothesized mean is 66.5 because we have to use this value. Let's check in Jamovi. This is my sample data. This is my data file. To perform the one sample t-test, click on Analyze, click on t-test, click on one sample t-test. In one sample t-test, click on this arrow to get the commands. T-test, one sample t-test. In one sample t-test, shift the marks, independent variables. Now we will check here. There is test, student t-test. It is also called student t-test. Now I would like to check mean difference, and I am also clicking on confidence interval. I am also clicking on effect size. I will tell you meaning in detail. What is the meaning of these values also? Descriptive, click descriptive, and here we will put the value 66.5 because I would like to compare. Now we have already checked the normality Shapiro-Wilk test. Now come to output. Friends, I have copied down all these values. Marks, one sample t-test, student t-test, this is statistics, this is degree of freedom, this is p-value, mean difference, confidence interval, Cohen's d, and this is the test of normality, and this is descriptive. I have pasted all this output in my slides. I will discuss there. These are my assumptions, hypothesis. Let's check. First of all, we will check the descriptive statistics. In descriptive statistics, mean is 68.199. We have compared it with 66.5. Standard deviation, the variation in my data, spread of my data, standard deviation is 5.233. Output of one sample t-test, I have shown you already. We have compared with 66.5. P-value is less than 0.05, and I have also checked there confidence interval. How to calculate confidence interval? Can we calculate with this value? Yes, we can calculate. How to calculate this? This is a table value t-test which is given in appendix in our books. I have taken from there. I have taken a screenshot from there. This is t-table. This is the row for one tail. This is the row for two tail. And this is the degree of freedom. DF is degree of freedom. These two lines 0.05, 0.5, 0.25, 0.20, 0. This is level of significance. Up to 100 values are given, and after that the value it will be converted as large sample. We will check the value of Z. This is also called confidence level. Interpretation of results, one sample t-test. Friends, we have data set. I am discussing about confidence limits. How to calculate confidence limits with the descriptive statistics. As I shown you, mean 68.199, standard deviation 5.233, n is equal to 150. Here we have to calculate standard error. Standard error already given, but we can learn from here how to calculate standard error. Standard deviation upon under root n. Standard deviation 5.2233. Let me take the highlighter. It will be comfortable for me. 5.233. When we divide 5.233 divided by 150 under root 150, we will get 0.427. Yes, this is standard error. To calculate the confidence interval limits at 95%, because we are working on at 5% level. 5% level of significance. X bar plus minus t table value means we have to check the table value into standard error. Friends, how to check the table value, exact table value, because I am going to compare with the software values generated by software. Now I have to check this value. I have performed this function in Excel by entering is equal to TINV. TINV demands probability and degree of freedom. Probability means level of significance. In this case, level of significance is 0.05 and degree of freedom In the case of one sample t-test, the formula for degree of freedom is n minus 1. N 150, n minus 1 means 149. When I put this value, I will get the t table value means 1.976013. You can also check by putting the value in Excel in this way. Now put the value x bar. X bar is 68.199. T table value 1.9760. I have taken the value at 4 decimal places. Into standard error. Standard error is 0.427. In this way, by calculating these values, I got 67.355 and 69.0425. Parameter should be, parameter means our hypothesized value. Our hypothesized value 66.5. Our hypothesized value lie between these value. Yes, we check. Lies between these value? Yes. If our value lies between this value, parameter should lie between this value, then we will set the null hypothesis. Otherwise, null hypothesis will be rejected. Now, if we would like to check this value, 95% confidence level, from where this value comes? After calculating this value, 67.355, 69.055, 4275. Now, subtract 66.5 this lower value and 66.5 from upper value. Then you will get 0.855 and 2.543. You can check this value match this. If 0 lies between this value, means in these two values, if 0 lies between these two values, if we draw this value on a number line, you can check these both values are positive. 0 does not lie in between these. If 0 lies between this value, null hypothesis accepted. Otherwise, null hypothesis rejected. On the basis of both two criteria, we can check the same answer we are getting. 0 is not lying in between, null hypothesis rejected. Decision rule. I have discussed this decision rule in very detail in my video hypothesis testing. Compare calculated value. If we perform this test manually, if I get a value, t value, this is called calculated value. I will compare the calculated value with table value. If calculated value is more than table value, calculated value is more than or equal to table value, the decision is null hypothesis rejected. And second method, compare the p-value with alpha. In this case, alpha means level of significance. I have taken the level of significance as 0.05. Compare this p-value with alpha. Software generated p-value. Every software gives us a p-value. I will show you with my data set in my data output. Compare p-value. If p-value is less than or equal to alpha, null hypothesis will be rejected. Friends, if you use any of these method, or if you use confidence interval limits, the same decision will become. I will show with my output. Yes. Conclusion till now. One sample t-test. The output from our data set from Jamovi. One sample t-test compared with 66.5. This t value, this statistics called calculated value. We will compare this calculated value with table value. And this is software generated p value. We will compare this p value with alpha with level of significance, in our case 0.05. This is the mean difference. Mean difference means R mean and hypothesized mean, population mean. Lower and upper, I have shown you how to calculate these values. Friends, now time to take the decision. Table, in this case, if I check the table value is 1.96. I will compare this value 1.96. Friends, you can compare also here with 1.97 also, exact 1.97. 1.97. If we compare this value with 3.976, our value is greater. I have shown you here in this decision. If your value is greater, null hypothesis is rejected. Means according to this, your null hypothesis is rejected. And this p value is less than alpha. Alpha Means 0.05. Yes, our value is less than 0.05. Means null hypothesis rejected. I have shown here you p value less than or equal to alpha. And same in our confidence limits. If 0 does not lie between this value, yes, 0 does not lie between this value, null hypothesis rejected. From three methods, same conclusion we are getting. Null hypothesis rejected. What was the null hypothesis? Mu marks means our data set mean of population is equal to 66.5, means it is not equal to 66.5, it is differ. Null hypothesis rejected means difference exists. Difference exists, but what we can say? Size of difference. How to check size of difference? Size of difference, if we discuss about size of difference, we should know about effect size. The one sample t-test as null hypothesis significance test inform you whether difference between means are real, are different in population, but it does not inform you the size of difference. How much? Small difference, large difference, medium difference. If we would like to get the knowledge about the size of difference, effect size is quantitative measure of the magnitude of the experimental effect. The larger the effect size, the stronger the relationship between two variables. Cohen D, we have checked here Cohen D. Cohen D tells us about the magnitude or size of difference. How to calculate Cohen D and what is Cohen D? Calculation of effect size. Here, mean difference between the group mean and hypothesized mean. Standard deviation is the standard deviation. Here we can check their formula. D is equal to, these are absolute, ignoring plus minus sign, mean difference, and this is the standard deviation. Standard deviation is the difference, and the brackets means absolute value, represent the absolute value. Friends, if I would like to show you how to calculate Cohen D formula is mean difference upon standard deviation. We can check mean difference. This is mean difference 1.66699 and this is standard deviation 5.233. You can check, you can calculate D value, Cohen's D value. Yes, this is equal to 0.325. Now we have calculated the D value, Cohen's D value. Now how to conclude the importance of Cohen D value? If our effect size is less than 0.02 or up to 0.2, our difference is small, and up to 0.5, between 0.2 and 0.5, the difference is medium. 0.05 to 0.8, this difference is large. If the effect size is D value is greater than 0.8, the strength is the effect size is very large. Now reporting time. How we will report in a research paper or in our thesis? These are two output, main output, one sample t-test, and this is descriptive. By taking values from these, I will show you how to report. One sample t-test was run to determine whether mean marks of students in a class was different to normal. As defined as mean marks was, hypothesized mean was 66.5. Marks was normally distributed as assessed by KS test. Our KS value was greater than 0.05. Now, data are mean plus standard deviation plus minus standard deviation unless otherwise stated. Means if there is any outlier, we will we will write about outlier. Mean marks means 68.199 plus minus standard deviation is 5.233 was higher. Yes, our marks was higher, the difference was positive 1.699. It was high, our population mean was higher than the test value. Test value means hypothesized mean 66.5. A statistical significant difference of 1.699 means this is the difference. 95% confidence interval. This is our confidence interval 0.855 to 2.543. T in bracket degree of freedom has been written. T 149, this is degree of freedom, is equal to 3.9676. If I calculate this value manually, our value T value is 3.976 and P, software generated value, P value is less than 0.01 and D, Cohen's D is 0.325. Friends, on the basis of these two tables, we will report about our one sample t-test. Friends, in this video, I have discussed about outliers, normality, how to check outliers, how to prepare box plot, how to perform normality test, and how to perform one sample test with assumption, and how to make decision, and how to report about your results in your paper. Friends, I hope this video will be useful for you. Thank you, my friends.